My name's Soweto Kinch. I play jazz and I do hip hop. So I MC, make beats, as you heard in the piece, freestyle and bully people in the crowd, like battling, as you probably picked up. And jazz, that's my thing. So I think it's also an exciting time to be a creative because you don't have to be confined by the same genre boxes and you just exist in this space and that space. I'm really excited actually about just putting music into the ether and letting people make up their own minds about what's dope and what's not. Born in London, lived in Handsworth since I was a kid, since I was 9, so I feel very much Brummie now basically. Growing up there, footy, cricket, all that as a kid. And that's really framed my identity musically. Grew up on the street where the drummer from Steel Pulse lived. Julie Dexter was a great influence on me. And the sense of community, church, carnival, things that have a huge cultural impression on me that shape the music I make. So you might not hear me chatting reggae and and making explicit sound system music, but it's deep in my psyche. Well, my father's a playwright, my mother's an actress. I grew up very much in theatrical environments and was aware not just of how great plays were, but their power to transform perception, to change societal views. My father was definitely one of those playwrights you could say, who showed you the power of the political in art without being preachy at any point. So I gleaned a lot from that. And if you like, it's the evolution of things from maybe just a verse to a full album to a staged piece that lets people appreciate the themes behind the creativity in more detail. Well, the show is called The Legend of Mike Smith. It's based on an album that I released in 2012, but really exploring the 7 deadly sins in the modern world. And exploring like a lot of these themes as I did 5 years ago, or writing it even 6 years ago, thinking, I'm not sure if corporate greed and government will be relevant in 6 years' time. I'm not sure if consumerism and stuff like that will still be, have a finger on the pulse. And it seems even more relevant doing this piece now than it did 5 years ago with everything that's happening in mainstream politics and expenses and scandals just, even more rife, austerity even more rife than it was then. So it is really using through the journey of one guy trying to record a track or trying to become a big deal in the music industry, feeling possessed by all these external forces that have an impact on his creativity. And anyone who's an artist or anyone just living in modern society hopefully identifies how these external pressures have an influence on the individual. I think there's a lot of the content that overtly will resonate with younger audiences more. There's hip hop for a start. But I'd like to think that the quality of the writing, the quality of the performance really transcends any tribal identifications with it. I love the fact I can go out into the crowd and diss someone who's like over 50 and then some teenager as well in the same breath. And I do a lot of shows where that's the case. You have an over 50s crowd who love the jazz, an under 25s crowd who love hip hop. And when they're coexisting in the same space, there's interesting crossovers, there's interesting epiphanies that happen. Great, there's two, things within that. The idea of there being a great market and visibility. And it's obvious there is a great market. Like, Akala's on television maybe twice a year with Frankie Boyle. He's played the flyover show at a festival that I do, we've hung out a few times. But he's not an A-lister though, he's not like, does television stuff. I've done radio presenting a couple of television programs, low-key. People like that who are explicitly political have huge followings. And last time I spoke to him, I think he's come back from Tunisia or something. His diary is like he's touring around the world 24/7. So there is a market for conscious hip hop. There's certainly a market for black theatre, because my father's been doing it his whole life when I've grown up in that environment. But sometimes the concept of the market and the reality of the market are very disconnected. People imagine that there's limos and paparazzis waiting around the corner, and it doesn't necessarily look like that. It's about identifying the people who really rock with you and will support you. That's where longevity lies, the answer to longevity lies. And the second part, yeah man, there's definitely a market for it, and yeah, it's important for us to, I think, develop native, like indigenous, like personal voices and personal takes on theatre, you know, whatever our origin is, because that's where authenticity comes. If I was to start writing in the style of Shakespeare, and because that's what theatre looks like, no one wants to see that. No one, you know, it's about plumbing the depths of where you come from to try and create a statement that's authentic. That's a great question. I just think it's not just political, but I exist in this real world and things affect me. And you know, if I have a breakup, the music will come out. If I'm in this environment where there's just austerity everywhere and there's, you know, homeless people and not really many breaks for people who look like me or you, the black or the brown of this culture, these are things that have a profound effect on me, and rather than walking into shops and kicking over furniture, like, let me get creative about how to vent some of these things. And also, it's about identifying the zeitgeist, identifying points of solidarity that people can agree with, and then we can change things. And since you asked the question, I don't know when you're posting this, in the next 6 weeks or not, but I've never been in the midst of a general election that's galvanized minds. Certainly, it's obviously galvanized grime artists as much. Like, everyone's tweeting for Corbyn at the moment, and it's a lot of hope. There is a lot of hope around, irrespective of what the actual result will be. I think that a lot of people will remember there was this window right here. One guy was talking some real stuff that we haven't heard from mainstream politicians in our lifetimes, and that is a point of optimism, a point of departure for us creatively. Get your bars up, kids. Now, straight up, I think a lot of us get, and it's always been the case, you know, whether you were of the drum and bass generation or the UK hip hop generation or whatever, it's like, it's easy to get distracted by what you think you need to do to be successful. Model yourself on Skepta or Stormzy or something, or you need to be the next so-and-so. Whereas anyone who's ever been successful has been successful for being themselves more than anybody else. Has found their audience for being themselves more than anyone else. And I'm a stickler for content, you know? You won't find that many fancy videos of me on YouTube. Yeah, I'm working on it. But really it's about the content. I like people to be able to look at my lyrics on the page and be like, raw, you know, dealing. And you can tell as an MC, you can tell when somebody's really about their pen game or not. Make sure you follow me, www.soweto-kinch.com. Come check out my shows, man. That's all I can say. You know what I mean? Oh, I've just released a new track. Speaking about political, just dropped a track called Taretha. Taretha May, because she needs ethering. Got 6 weeks. You can download the tune from iTunes, or you can just listen to it on YouTube for free. It's all about the freeness for freedom. So yeah, man. Enough said.